June 14th, 1947. Born to William Sam Robbins and Edna Earl Davenport Robbins, William Sammy Robbins, Jr. was brought into this world. In a little town called Yatesville is where he would spend his early years growing up with his two sisters, Janice and Martha. Just down the road, and a little over a year later, on October 22nd, 1948, William Edgar Tankard and Dorothy Dot Brooks Tankard gave birth to a beautiful baby girl and named her Eunice. Eunice grew up with her brother Bill right by the school she attended, which was also where her mother taught. Sammy and Eunice met at the age of 10 and 12 at the Bayview skating rink where Eunice's dad worked, but it was several years later before they really knew they were meant for each other. They started dating one leap year when Eunice asked Sammy to a sweetheart dance. From there, it was obvious that it was just meant to be. Many great stories came out of this relationship, but one of Martha's favorites is when Eunice went on a trip with her and the rest of the Robbins family to see Sammy in South Carolina.
Mama had food in the car and stuff, and then all of us, Daddy's and Mama got tired of taking us to the bathroom, and they told us that they weren't going to keep stopping at every bathroom, every gas station that we came to. And so anyway, we were about to die, and finally we got to a gas station, and Eunice said, "Let me go ahead. I don't have to go. It won't take me long," because we knew we were going to pee forever once we got in there. And so we let Eunice go first, and she peed, and she peed, and she peed, and we were about to, yellow was coming up in our eyeballs. We were so full of stuff. And then finally she kept laughing. "I didn't know I had to go this bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Then we thought, and then finally when she got through, we were about to fight to see who was going to be the next one to go because we had to go so bad. But she promised that she wasn't going to go for let her get out of the way, and then she would go on to be out of our way.
Yeah.
That was funny to us, Janice and I both. Afterwards, it wasn't funny then.
It must have been the fact that Eunice felt comfortable enough to pee in front of his family that Sammy asked her to marry him, and she said yes. A beautiful bridal shower was held for friends and family, and shortly thereafter, on August 4th, 1968, at St. Thomas Episcopal Church, they vowed their lives to each other. Wearing a lovely gown and flattering veil, Eunice walked down the aisle to her knight in shining armor. For a brief time, they lived by the water in Bayview, and then moved to Plymouth, North Carolina. Sammy got a good job at Weyerhaeuser, and if you couldn't find him there or at home with his beautiful wife, he would occasionally take a break and get a good shave and a haircut from Marvin Peel, the local barber, or be found on his CB trying to talk to China. At first, their home was on West Avenue, and on January 13th, 1969, in the old Washington County Hospital, their beautiful, amazing, talented, and smart daughter was born. They named her Angela due to her angelic features. Sammy was sick with the flu, so Eunice made him wear a mask before she would allow him to hold her. Of course, this didn't stop him from showing his love for her and his new daughter, as he brought her a dozen roses, and in just a few days from the date of this report, the traditional story of 48 years ago today will be told. Due to only being able to heat one room at a time with a skillet filled with water, they found it necessary to move from West Avenue, and found a home on 3rd Street. The stay on 3rd Street was brief, and they moved again while Angela was still very small to a little house across the street from the local Moose Lodge. I guess they felt it very safe there, considering they felt it was okay to leave their infant daughter asleep in the crib while they went to visit friends. Of course, this wasn't the actual case. They were going to visit their neighbors. Each of them thought the other one had brought Angela with them, but the other version does make a better story. While Sammy worked long, hard hours at Weyerhaeuser, Eunice kept everything running smoothly. If she wasn't at home with Angela keeping their little home spotless, it was likely you'd find her at the local A&P grocery shopping or starting Angela off with a firm foundation of faith at Sunday school, Vacation Bible School, or church at Grace Episcopal. From the beginning, dancing was a huge part of their relationship, and the convenience of the Moose Lodge being across the street allowed them to practice their skills. All that practice must have paid off, considering they would win dancing contests without even entering them, which should be no surprise just by watching them cutting a rug at a local concert by the Rondells.
Check it out, y'all.
Angela was the apple of her daddy's eye and her mother's heart, but the fact remained that Sammy had to go to work, and Eunice didn't want to be left alone at night. So when Sammy was on night shifts, Eunice would spend the night at a friend's house or have her friend come over to hers. And for reasons still unknown, she felt it was okay to sometimes leave Angela alone with her friend. As Angela grew, she became a little more independent and became very close with her grandmothers. They were forever present at birthday parties, making them times to never be forgotten. You would likely find Angela taking baths in the Seek at Yatesville, making ice cream and playing parcheesi at Mama Dot's, or cracking jokes and learning how to kiss a man properly with Mama Dot and Miss Brownie. When Angela was 3, Sammy and Eunice moved into a kid-friendly subdivision called Creekside. 204 Robin Drive was the place that Angela develops her first memories. Sammy and Eunice always made each and every day a great one, but especially at Christmas when Mammy, Sammy's grandmother, would come to spend Christmas Eve with them. Can't you just imagine the great times? Nowadays things have changed so much, but with the old wood kitchen cabinets and hideous blue tile in the bathroom, it's a true blast from the past. As Angela entered school, Eunice decided to find herself something outside of the home to do. She found a position helping students with reading at the local high school. In the summer of 1976, Sammy and Eunice were expecting their newest arrival, and just a little over a month before she was due, they moved to Bath, North Carolina, into a home that Eunice remembers to be her grandmother's, for whom she was named. The move allowed Sammy to be closer to the family farmland that he had started tending. William Samuel Robbins III was born on August the 31st, 1976, at Beaufort County Hospital, and Sammy once again adorned his bride with roses. Angela likes to joke about him only giving her half a dozen because he was only half as important, but the real reason was due to the rising cost of flowers. At the moment of birth, everyone knew Sam was going to be awesome, funny, handsome, and a handful. At first, Angela was very jealous of her brother. She had been an only child for 7 years after all, but eventually decided that he was okay and learned to love him as much as their parents had hoped for. She didn't even try to push him off of her daddy's old pony Lumpy when they weren't looking. He did love a sink bath like a sister after all. Sam loved anything fast and or with wheels. You would constantly find him scratching off, looking for putt-putts, or yee-hawing when riding over a bump. He also loved mischief, but found out at a very early age that breaking a bottle just to see it bust wasn't such a good idea. With their family complete, summers were full of adventures on the Dixie. Water skiing and a day full of fun at the point were the best way to get that summertime glow. When Sam was born, Angela started following in her dad's footsteps by studying dance with Marie Wallace. Eunice tried to get her into modeling school, but was turned down due to the fact that the modeling agents were afraid that their other clients would be jealous of her beauty and charm. Meanwhile, Sam was being just as graceful as his sister, doing wheelies on his bike, flying by at hundreds miles per hour on his dirt bike, playing football for the Dolphins, or seeing if capes could really make you fly. One of his favorite memories is told something like this.
I remember one time me and Andrew was in the kitchen eating brownies, and we rolled up a brownie and it looked like a doo-doo. So we decided we're going to play a joke on Mom. So we went outside, put a brownie rolled up like a doo-doo on the side of the walkway, and went inside and asked Mom, could you come out here and tell me what this is? And she went outside, she said it looked like a doo-doo. And Andrew said, Sam, I'll give you $5 if you go and eat it. And I picked it up and ate it, and she said, I can't believe you did that, and ran inside. And we were laughing so hard I couldn't stop her, and she said, Sam.
When Sam was 15, Sammy and Eunice sent Angela off to college at ECU. While there, she reunited with an old beau, Edgar Thornton Sawyer III, also known as E.T. It wasn't until they had been dating a while that E.T. discovered who her daddy was.
This is how I found out who Sleepwalker was and how he was related to my future. Me and Staten were sitting over on Rodman Road one day deer hunting and just sitting around talking. All of a sudden the radio crackles up and it's Sleepwalker. Y'all boys come over here and have a drink and be somebody with me. I need a hand. Yep, we went over there. Sat out on the tailgate the truck, running our mouths on the Loretta Road. Boy, I understand you dating this young lady from Bath. Yes, sir. What do you think of her? She's a nice girl, been out with her a few times, like to see her again. Son, that's my daughter. Well, I look at Staten. Staten looks at me, and we both look at Bertha. Well, Bertha's sitting about 6 inches from Sammy on the tailgate of that truck. I looked at Staten Hardison and said, Staten, if I don't live to tell this tale, you tell the tale for me. And my future father-in-law looked at me and said, son, she got more than one shell in her. Well, we sat there and talked, and it was pretty much explained to me that at any given time, if I were to mess up, Bertha could be pulled out of retirement and I could be took care of. And have not looked back on it a day yet.
Angela and E.T. married on April 24, 1993, and together with 4-year-old Ashley, became a family of their own. Shortly after their marriage, Sam, who had graduated magna cum laude at Beaufort County Community College, became a welder, and after a brief employment in Washington, was employed with NACO in Greenville, where he is still employed. Sammy and Eunice's first grandchild, Braxton Zane, was born on June 25, 1997. Eunice was there at his birth and was also the first one to hold him. She decided she wanted to be called My Mama because that is what she called her grandmother, whom she loved so dearly. Sammy, on the other hand, had a little more difficulty deciding on his new status, but eventually decided that Papa suited him perfectly. Just 3 years later, another little girl was added because E.T. and Angela had decided that they had just too much love to give and not enough little ones to hand it out to. Samantha Faith was born August 16, 2000. Eunice was once again there to witness her grandchild's birth, while Sammy stood watch at the door, constantly being asked to go back to his seat. Problem was that his one and only not-so-little girl was on the other side of the door yelling, "Grab it and pull her out!" With that last scream, Sammy could take no more and came busting through the door just in time to see his namesake be born. "Daddy, I never planned on you being in there with me sprawled out as I was, but I wouldn't give up the memory of looking at you just seconds after she was born to see that single tear run down your cheek. I love you." Braxton and Samantha grew up being involved with a multitude of activities, whether it be school programs, ballroom dances, or one of the many family get-togethers and birthday parties. My Mama and Papa were always following in their own mother's footsteps, and were found at any and every one they could possibly attend. Papa was usually the most excited to attend, which is easy to tell by the look on his face. When Braxton and Samantha became old enough to drive, Sammy and Eunice decided that they hadn't spoiled them enough quite yet and bought each of them a car, including Braxton a Jeep and Samantha a yellow Mustang. The fact that he got Samantha a yellow Mustang, which was the same brand and color as his first car, makes Papa just as proud of it as she is. The love for their grandchildren is larger than life itself, which is exuberated in these pictures at Braxton's graduation. Their smiles couldn't have gotten any bigger without them hurting themselves. One thing is for sure, this family is surely grateful to have such awesome parents and grandparents. Earlier this year, Sam proposed to the love of his life, and on April 15, 2017, Sam will marry Brandy Cook, and Sammy and Eunice couldn't be happier for them. Angela is also excited. She says, "We have waited a lifetime for the one, and finally, at last, it has happened. I'm getting a sister." Through the years in this crazy family, there have always been stories to be told, and whether an old one or a new one such as this, the laughter and memories never stop.
And so they kept on going around, and they changed it every time, you know. Each time had to be changed. Yeah, they kept going around, everybody laughing, going crazy. I said, what in the world's so funny about this? And finally, about the third or fourth time went around, Jean's sister was beside him, and she was doing Nancy, Pansy, like that. And finally, after she went around, and I said, what in the world is so darn funny? I said, and then the next time she went by, I said, I don't mean no harm, but you got the greasiest damn hands I've ever seen in my life. And she had lipstick behind her like that, and she put lipstick all over her. I said, everybody laughing like, I said, this is the stupidest game I've ever seen. I said, my God, I wrecked. But she had a tube of lipstick, she was rubbing it on her fingers. And everybody was going around doing it, you know. And then somebody said, well, you messed up, you know. So they could take a drink. And I said, what's so funny about that? And kept everybody laughing at me. And
You had lipstick all over you, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, she put it down my nose, across there, grabbed my ear. Finally, I said, of course, you know, I take a drink every now and then too, you know. Yeah. Finally, I looked at her and I said, I don't mean no harm, but you got the greasiest hands anybody in the world. And everybody busted out laughing.
This love story of marriage and family should be a guide to everyone who sees it. True love really does exist. So no matter what they call you, Sammy and Eunice, Mr. and Mrs. Robbins, Mr. Sammy and Miss Eunice, Daddy and Mama, or Mama and Papa, you have shown what a marriage and being a family is all about. Your love for one another and for your family is one that is admired, loved, adored, and a true love story.